Rescue Crew. At 48, the Breaking Hands Gun Club. At 47, considering a move to Memphis, Colourblind James Experience. At 46, Pump Up the Volume, Mars. At 45, Shoplifters of the World Unite, the Smiths. At 44, 22 going on 23, Butthole Surfers. At 43, 1963, New Order. At 42, El Doper, Big Black. And at 41, 9 Million Rainy Days, Jesus and Mary Chain. Then at 40, I started something I couldn't finish, the Smiths. At 39, Kill Surf City, the Jesus and Mary Chain. At 38, You're Gonna Get Yours, Public Enemy. At 37, I Got a Catholic Block, that's Sonic Youth. At 36, I Know You Got Soul, Eric B. and Rakim. 35, Franz House from McCarthy. At 34, Sheila Take a Bow, the Smiths. At 33, Blow Up, James Taylor Quartet. At 32, Sign of the Times, Prince. And at 31, Getting Nowhere Fast, The Wedding Present. At 30, My Foolish Heart, the Bundu Boys. At 29, I Won't Share You, the Smiths. At 28, Brighter, Railway Children. At 27, Paid in Full, Eric B. and Rakim. At 26, Athlete Cured, The Fall. And at 25, Death of a Disco Dancer, The Smiths. At 24, Half a Person, Smiths. And at 23, Sweet and Tender Hooligan, Smiths. And at 22, Big Rock Candy Mountain, Motorcycle Boy. At 21, Paint a Vulgar Picture, The Smiths. And then this is at number 20. You might well laugh. A session track at number 20 in the Festive 50, and that was for Brian in Chard, Somerset. Cud and Hot Chocolate's You Sexy Thing. This is at number 19. The Primitives at number 19, and that Stop Killing Me. And you'll recall, no doubt, that at number 42 was Big Black's El Doper from the LP with no name. And this is at number 18. That's it, eh? Big Black, and that's Colombian Necktie, at number 18 in the charts. And if I'd voted myself, I might very easily have made this number 1. As it was, you made it number 17.
Ross wearing number 9, attacking as we watch the referee, Sir Clive Thomas, the man who was involved in that controversial incident.
Dalglish, ball into the 2-4, hits there. Oh, beautiful running net by Dalglish. Dalglish at his best. Dalglish, sharp as an eagle. Reece drives back with his right foot. Liverpool one behind, equalised. They've now forged ahead.
And can there be any doubt in your mind that at this very moment Adrian Sherwood is in the Southern Studios, London, North 22, preparing a track about John Barnes. That's Barmy Army, Sharp as a Needle, number 17 in the Festive 50. And this is at number 60.
And
the third Festive 50 entry for the Jesus and Mary chain. That's April Skies, and that's at number 16. And there we are, 5 records in a row, or 5 tunes in a row, without anything from the Smiths. This is at number 15. Well, I like the Smiths myself. I mean, obviously I did, but this is getting a bit daft, I think. At number 15, that's the Smiths and Girlfriend in a Coma. And according to my calculations, their 9th entry in this year's Festive 50. This is at number 14, not by the Smiths.
Brothers and sisters! Brothers and sisters! I don't know what this world is coming to.
Yes, the rhythm's a rebel. Without a pause, I'm lowering my level. The hard rhymer, where you never been, I'm in. You want styling? You know it's time again. See, the enemy telling you to hear it. They praise the music, it's time to play the lyrics. Some say no to the album, the show. Bum rush the sound. I made a year ago. I guess you know, you guess I'm just a radical. Not on sabbatical, yes, to make it critical. The only part of your body should be partying too. Pass the power on the hour from the rebel to you.
Hey, yo, Chuck, man, I don't understand this, man. Yo, you got to slow down, man. You're losing them.
Radio, suckers never play me. On the mix, they just okay me now. Known and grown. When the clock in my zone is known, thinking and taking everything now the brother owns. My calling card, recorded and ordered. Supporter of Chesimard, loud and proud. Kicking live, next poet supreme. Loose but true, bazooka, the scheme. Flavor, a rebel in his own mind. Supporter of my rhymes, designed to scatter a line of suckers who claim I do crime. They on my time, dig it.
Hey, yo, Chuck, I think we taking short. Show them this is Cole Medina, man. Come on, kick it.
Terminator X. Terminator X. Terminator X. Terminated.
Yo, Chuck, they're getting them nervous. They can't handle this. They're gonna break down.
From a rebel, it's final. On black vinyl, soul, rock and roll, coming like a rhino. Tables turn, suckers burn to learn. They can't disable the power of my label. Def Jam tells you who I am. The enemy's public, they really give a damn. Strong Island, where I got a wildin'. That's the reason they claiming that I'm violent. Never silent, no dope, getting dumb, nope. Claiming where we get our rhythm from. Number one, we hit you and we give you some. No gun, it's still never on the run. You wanna be an S1, grip until you win, and then you come again. You know what time it is, impeach the president. Pulling out my ray gun, that's the next one. I could be your shogun. Don't last a minute, soft and smooth, I ain't with it.
Hardcore.
Raw razor. I'm like a laser, I just won't phase ya. Old enough to raise ya, so this will phase ya. Get it right, boy, maybe I will praise ya. Playing the role I got soul to. Voice my opinion with volume. Move, not what I am. Rock, cause I'm a man, no matter what the name. We're all the same, pieces in one big chess game. Yeah. The force of power is in a house. Go take a shower, boy. P-E-R-crew, not singular. We wear black wranglers, we're rap stranglers. You can't angle us, I know you're listening. I caught you pissing your pants. You're scared of dissing us. The crowd is missing us. We're on a mission, y'all.
Yo, Chuck, yo, yeah, man. Yo, you got him running scared, man.
Terminator X. Terminator X. Terminator X. Check the Terminator. Come on. Come on. Attitude when I'm on fire. Shoes on the loose, electric wire. Simple and plain, give me the lane. I'll throw it down your throat like Barkley. You see my car keys, you'll never get these. They belong to the 9-8 posse. You want some more, son? You want to get some? Bum rush the door of the store, pick up the album. You know the rhythm, the rhyme, plus the beat is designed so I can enter your mind, boys. Bring the noise, my time. Step aside for the flex, Terminator X.
Yeah, that's right. This jam is rated Cole Medina, boy. That's right, Cole Medina. That's right. We showing up in F50, other known as Effect. You understand what I'm saying?
I certainly do. That's Public Enemy at number 14 in the Festive 50 with Rebel Without a Pause. Let me remind you once again, dear listener, that tomorrow night, of course, it's the top 10 in the Festive 50, along with sections from Overlord X, The Stupids, Slab, The Primitives, Head of David, and James. I was rather pleased to see this at 13. Unlucky for some. strange thing, you know, but every year I think to myself, after I've done the Festive 50, I'll indulge myself and in the first programme for the new year, play all of the records that I've preferred, or all of the tracks that I've preferred from the previous year. And I never get round to doing it because there are always so many records that I want to play that I've heard over the weeks of the Festive 50. And the same thing is true this year. But that's one that I would have played, I think, if I'd got round to playing you my favourite tracks of 1987, the Sonic Youths, and that's from the LP's sister, Schizophrenia, the title of it. This is at number 12. Yet more moments from the LP Strange Ways. Here we come. The Smiths, again, at number 12. Stop me if you think you've heard this one before. And before number 11, I'll give you a rundown of what we've had so far tonight. At 20, You Sexy Thing, Cud. At 19, Stop Killing Me, The Primitives. Big Black at 18 with Columbia Necktie. Sharp as a Needle at 17, that's Barmy Army, of course. Jesus and Mary Chain at 16 with April Skies. At 15, Girlfriend in a Coma, The Smiths. And at 14, Rebel Without a Pause, Public Enemy. Sonic Youth at number 13 with Schizophrenia, and as you just heard, the Smiths again at 12 with Stop Me if you think you've heard this one before. Their 10th entry, incidentally, in this year's Festive 50. And at number 11, somebody may write in and correct me on this, but I think I'm right in saying the first flexi disc to get into the Festive 50.
Hello,
your stories. I once ate 6 Mars bars in half an hour. Did you can? While working on a site I unearthed the bomb. Oh, did you can? And I once had a shower with 2 American girls. Well, at the same time, Ken, preposterous. Preposterous tale, preposterous tale. Preposterous tale, the life of Ken Mackenzie. Preposterous tale, preposterous tale. Preposterous tale in the life of Ken Mackenzie. One for the road. Preposterous tale, preposterous tale. Preposterous tale in the life of Ken Mackenzie. Preposterous tale, preposterous tale. Preposterous tale in the life of Ken Mackenzie. Come on, Ken, time to go. Getting a cab? I thought you were broke. All right then.
Time to go indeed. That's I, Ludicrous, with a flexi disc from the magazine Blah Blah Blah, Preposterous Tales, and that's at number 11 in the Festive 50. Back tomorrow with the top 10, of course. 10 so far from the Smiths, but only 1 apiece from the Fall and the Wedding Present, last year's big scorers. What does it all mean, I wonder? Lots of sessions too. Coming up shortly, the Midnight News Summary. Thanks very much for listening. Good night.
The news at midnight. This is David Geary. Israel moves in thousands of extra troops to deal with the violence in the occupied territories. 4 men die in an explosion at an American missile plant, and a New Year promise from British Rail, better and faster intercity services. The Israeli Defense Minister, Mr. Yitzhak Rabin, says more troops have been put on the streets of the occupied West Bank and Gaza Strip to prevent rioting. More than 20 Palestinians have been shot dead by Israeli soldiers during the recent unrest. Mr. Rabin said he hoped the extra troops would reduce the need to use live ammunition, but he said massive force will be used if necessary. Our Jerusalem correspondent, Gerald Butt.
Details of army deployment are, of course, classified information, but it's clear that the normal force of up to 2,000 in the Gaza Strip has been tripled or more, and that the force of 1,000 or so on the West Bank has been doubled. The Chief of General Staff, Dan Shomron, has confirmed these overall estimates. Indeed, in the Gaza Strip alone, there are now more troops deployed than were used to occupy both Gaza and the West Bank in the Middle East War of June 1967.
4 workmen have been killed at a missile plant in the United States. It happened at the Morton Thiokol Rocket Company near Brigham City in Utah, where part of the MX intercontinental ballistic missile is made. Peter Ruff reports.
According to their work schedule, the team of engineers should have been removing a casing from 100,000 pounds of solid rocket fuel, but company officials won't say yet whether that operation was actually going on when the fire started. 4 of the workers died instantly, and a 5th is critically injured with burns over 90% of his body. The building housing the MX was totally destroyed in the blaze, but there was no damage to other similar workshops in the area. The MX is a rocket designed to carry 10 nuclear warheads, but the radioactive devices are constructed elsewhere, so there was no danger of more serious contamination.
Police in Arkansas have discovered 9 more bodies after a gunman went on the rampage in the town of Russellville. 16 people are now known to have died, most of them members of the gunman's family. He's already been accused of 2 murders and is expected to face more charges. 3 Soviet cosmonauts have been awarded their country's highest honor, the Order of Lenin, after returning safely to Earth from the orbiting space station Mir. Among them is Yuri Romanenko, who's been in space for nearly 11 months, easily beating the endurance record. Swedish police say they've broken another drugs ring involving British subjects. 2 Englishmen and an Irishman and a Dane have been arrested in Stockholm. The police say they've seized cannabis weighing more than 100 pounds from a rented house there. Passengers on British Rail's intercity routes have been promised an improved and more efficient service during the next year. The changes include more early morning and late evening services, more Pullman trains, and up to 20 minutes cut from the London to Edinburgh journey time. Fergus Walsh reports.
The director of Intercity, Dr. John Prideaux, said his new strategy would help British Rail's express service move into profit by about 1990. The new timetable being introduced in May would, he said, mean improvements for the vast majority of passengers. The changes include more frequent trains between London and many cities and extra Pullman services. Birmingham will get better links with Manchester, Sheffield and Bristol, while South East England will have a new direct link with the Lake District and Scotland. The Transport Users Consultative Committee has given a cautious welcome to the proposals, but said that intercity trains were often seriously overcrowded and improvements were still needed to the general quality of service.
The Archbishop of Canterbury has issued a statement in support of the bishop who banned active homosexual vicars from his diocese. The statement, issued by Lambeth Palace, said the Bishop of Ripon, the Right Reverend David Young, was speaking of the kind of discipline and charity which Dr. Runcie has always exercised in his own diocese. A man is in hospital after gunmen shot him at his home on the outskirts of Belfast. Two men wearing balaclavas smashed open the door of his house near Dundonald and shot the 31-year-old man in the stomach. His home was attacked 8 days ago, but he wasn't there at the time. Share prices fell sharply on the London Stock Exchange in the first day's trading after the Christmas break. The 100 index opened nearly 80 points down, but later rallied slightly, closing at 1,730.3, a fall of 60.8 on the day. Now the weather, after a mainly dry night, rain in the southwest in the early morning will extend to most other parts during the day. Any rain in the southeast will be light until evening. And that's the news at 5 minutes past 12.
Radio 2, Brian Matthews.
Again, saying which was my favourite LP of the year, I chose that. And anyone can make a mistake. That's at number 10. And the only other entry that the wedding present had was at number 31, which is Getting Nowhere Fast, which isn't, of course, on the LP. This is your number 9 top pop favourite. I assumed you must be going for the straightforward version, The Fall, and that's hit the north. Can't wait for that LP, I must say. Really looking forward to having that to play you. Around the end of February, they tell me. The Fall hit the north, that's number 9 in the Festive 50. And this next is for Ian in Somerset, and it's number 8 in the Festive 50.
I must walk past this doorway 30 times, just trying to catch your eye. You made it all worthwhile when you returned my smile. It all became worthwhile. Don't you feel a little cold by the door? You know I'd really like to talk some more. Oh, don't be worried about your friends. I think you left some time round 10. What was her name again? You're not like anyone I've ever met. You're not like anyone I've ever met. Charlie over here. Oh, I've known him off and on for years. He's never mentioned you before. Oh, that didn't come out right at all. And now I feel this small. That seems to be it, don't get me wrong. But how you gonna get back home? Oh, I'd be willing to walk that way. There's something I've just got to say. I'd walk 1,000,000 miles today. You're not like anyone I've ever met. You're not like anyone I've ever met. All the way home, I had to tell somebody, and you happened to phone. I can't think of anything else, no matter how I try. Which no, I can't even remember the colour of her eyes, and that's right. I've ever met. You're not like anyone I've ever met. Or at least not yet.
Quite right too, I say. That makes it 2 Falls, 3 Wedding Presents and 10 Smiths. That's at number 8 in the Festive 50. Another track from the LP George Best, 1,000,000 Miles. And this is at number 7.
they say. That's the price that we all pay. While you destiny comes to nothing, I can't tell you where we're going. I guess there's just no way of knowing. I used to think that the day was never come. I see the light in the shade of the morning sun. My morning sun is a drug that brings
Longest record in this year's Festive 50, that's New Order, and at number 7, True Faith. And in just a moment, the number 6 record.
One of the pop and rock events of 1987 was the Prince's Trust concert. Radio 1 brings you highlights of that concert, featuring Alison Moyet, Bryan Adams, Dave Edmunds, Curiosity Killed the Cat, Labi Siffredi, Midge Ure, Go West, Eric Clapton, Benny King, Spandau Ballet, Elton John, Ringo Starr, George Harrison, Phil Collins, and Paul Young. All that at 10 minutes past 3 this Friday, the 1st of January. The Prince's Trust concert, Radio 1, starting a new year in style.
Britain's favorite radio, Radio 1.
Well, so far tonight it's gone wedding present fall, wedding present new order, wedding present, and that's at number 6 in your Festive 50 for this year. Another track from the LP George Best, the wedding present, and my favourite dress. And there are still, I'll give you a bit of a hint of what's to come, there are still 2 bands to be featured who haven't been in the chart at all yet. Who can they possibly be? But this is at number 5. Hold on a second.
Just another false alarm.
Well, that, extraordinarily enough, is the 11th track in this year's Festive 50 from the Smiths, and the 7th from the LP Strange Ways, Here We Come. Last night, I dreamt that somebody loved me, and that's at number 5. And if you want to get the chart printed out, I mean, we have copies of it here, the usual thing, but it's also going to be in the NME, I think, and Sounds, and certainly in this Sunday's Observer, the latter case, along with a brief and, as I said, fairly fatuous commentary from myself. I mean, what can you say about it, really? You'll find out on Sunday. This is at number 4. That petrol emotion in the Festive 50 at number 4 with Big Decision. Must admit, I thought this was a most unusual Festive 50 this year. I mean, quite clearly, not just because of the presence of 11 Smiths tracks in there, which, if we survive until next year, there quite clearly won't be. Although, if Morrissey brings out records, I don't doubt they'll get in there in profusion. But anyway, let's move on to number 3. Another one that starts a bit late.
Oh, why do you catch my eye then turn away? Thought we said all the things we had to say. John said he saw you holding hands with your new friend. How does it feel to know you just won again? Don't give me that. It's the worst thing. Everyone thinks he looks that you can have your train. Can I keep that book of yours and maybe this one too? Sure, I'll bring them round tomorrow, if that will do. What's really cool, they must have viewed that it's 3:30. show? Was it a good film? Oh well, that's just me. Don't give me that. If you were seen, everyone thinks he looks daft. If you can have your dream, or you can have a dream. By your old house, just the other day. That kid we used, the thing was mad, but now it looks okay. I think someone's here, look out the window, I can't make out who. Oh, I'd love to stay, but I've really got so many things to do. Don't give me that. Everyone thinks it looks daft, but you can have your dream. Don't give me that. If you were seen, everyone thinks it looks daft, but you can have your dream.
Well, it was the whistling that did it, of course. That's from the LP George Best, the fourth one in the top 10 from the wedding present. Everyone thinks he looks daft, and I think the very least they can do is to call the next LP Kenny Dalglish. Then I might play it on the radio once or twice. Right, this is number 2. Well, there you are. That's a number 2 in your Festive 50. Australians in Europe from the Mighty Fall. Right, I'll tell you what we've had so far tonight. It's exciting, isn't it? I shall enjoy this, I must say. At number 10, Anyone Can Make a Mistake from the Wedding Present. At number 9, Hit the North, The Fall. At number 8, A Million Miles, Wedding Present. At number 7, True Faith, New Order. At number 6, My Favourite Dress, Wedding Present. At number 5, Last Night I Dreamt Somebody Loved Me, The Smiths. At number 4, Big Decision, That Petrol Emotion. At number 3, Everyone Thinks He Looks Daft from the Wedding Present. And at number 2, Australians in Europe, The Fall. And this was your favourite record of 1987. Well, there you have it. This is number 1 record in your Festive 50. Those are the Sugar Cubes and Birthday. I was tempted to play the Icelandic version, but I thought that would be being a bit devious, or deviant. And let's see, what have we got for you on Monday night? Well, of course, we've got a session from the Sugar Cubes, along with that one from the Close Lobsters. It'll also be 1988, and I'll have lots of interesting new records for you. Tonight you heard sessions from Hedda David, James, Overlord X, The Primitive Slab and Stupids, Coming up next, the Midnight News Summary. Thanks very much for listening. Oh, I can relax now. Good night.
Radio 2.
The news at midnight. This is John Marsh. 31 people have been rewarded in the New Year's honours for their bravery during the Zeebrugge ferry disaster. 2 George medals have been awarded, one of them posthumously, for outstanding gallantry, and a number of Belgians have also been decorated. The golfer Henry Cotton is given a knighthood a week after his death. In the New Year's honours list published a few moments ago, there are a number of awards for gallantry to people involved in the rescue of passengers and crew of the